I
Okay,
love
so
Leonard Skinner. Sorry,
Did
Monica.
everyone see Martin's reaction? I was like, Martin is here for this conversation. Like, I love this. Oh, love it.
yeah, so today we're going to be a little bit more hands-on rather than, talking about principles and stuff. So we're going to go through the prompt, and then I want a couple of you guys to be brave enough and like I want to do some blog posts with you. So, we can have some fun and we can be a little bit more interactive and basically, that way you'll see like if we do a blog post for you specifically, you'll see how it sounds, how you feel about it, how you feel about the prompts, because the one of the most important things is when somebody gives you a prompt, this prompt is, unless you're paying for this prompt to be written for you specifically, they're giving you more or less a generic prompt. It may be a very good one, but it's not fine-tuned to your business, your offer, your audience, or any specific requirements you may have. So any prompt that we are giving you in any of these workshops, they are your baseline. From there, you can customize and fine tune them any way you want. And the more you play and fine tune your prompts, the better your results will be and the better you will become at prompt engineering. So I'm going to share my screen and we're going to go quickly through the prompt. Okay, you guys all can see my screen? Alrighty. So, what we're going to do is first we're going to, as usual, we're going to kind of give it a roll and we're going to say act as a skilled blog writer and SEO expert who writes in a clear, simple, and easy to understand way. Now, every time I give a role, I try to expand a little bit on that role. It's not like, oh, you're a blog writer and that's it. Like I always try to give it a bit more. So and then I say, I want you to create a high quality blog post optimized for SEO and easy to read. Write in plain, straightforward language that connects with wide audiences. This is something that we always want to do for blog posts, unless we know that our audience is very specific. So if we're a doctor that writes articles for doctors, you may use, the jargon and all these big words that none of us understands. Like, why would you tell me that something's wrong with my patella when I have no idea that this means my kneecap? You know? It's like, write it for me, because if you write it for me, I'll understand it. All right. And then in here, we have some context that you will need to give to um, you need to input into the blog post, into the prompt. So the first one is the topic of the blog post. So if you've gone through the training, or if you've tried the training that Eve did yesterday and you've gone, through Perplexity and Google and done some research, you should have plenty of ideas for topics. Then you need to actually tell them who your audience is. Because, as I said, if I'm a doctor and if I write for doctors, they're my audience. But if I'm a doctor, if I'm a GP writing for the general public, then my content should be different. Then we're going to tell it about our tone of voice. If you have been to our previous workshop and you have gone through the speech analysis and you have this document with you, you can just in here can say I'm attaching my speech pattern and tone of voice. If not, you just have to describe it. Then you'll need to tell it how long you want the blog post to be, because ChatGPT is pretty lazy. if you don't tell it, a lot of the times it will just be, oh, here's this blurb. That's your blog post. So I usually either go and I test it to see which works better for me. I either go write so many paragraphs or write so many words. And usually when you say write 1,000 words, it will probably write 800. So always lump a little bit more, so you know that it will write enough content. And of course, you need to be able to tell it what are the main keywords, because this is what, will create that SEO. So if I'm a doctor doing the patella, I will tell it, kneecap, knees, legs, health, all these keywords. And again, you can use perplexity and you can say, hey, this is the topic. This is a topic that I want to do a blog post on. Can you give me some keywords that are SEO friendly? Uh, Whoops, sorry. I don't want to give it a link. I just want to highlight it. I'm just highlighting them so you guys can see exactly what you need to be filling out. And then we're going to give the instructions, which are a bit. And as I say, everything in here is customizable. So it's kind of done it's done enough that it will create a really good blog post, but then each and every one of you has different nuances of how you like your blog post to be. So the first one is we want ChatGPT to ask us some questions so it can write a really good blog post. The first one is what is the topic? Sorry. These two things, we've already done them. Sorry, I think we were messing around with that prompt the other day. So even though you have a tone of voice here, sometimes, especially if you talk about breaking news or anything like that, you may want to give a specific tone of voice for this specific blog post. So again, you can take it or leave it. Again, how long should the blog be? If you haven't done it in here, it will ask you what are the main keywords. Should the blog post include specific SEO elements like a meta description or internal links? I don't know how much meta descriptions play a role. Maybe Martin can tell us because he's in SEO. And I know the internal links play a role, but I'm not entirely sure how much meta descriptions play a role. And the last one is what structure should the blog follow? Intro headings, bullet points, CTAs. And then we're going to say use the search function to search the topic. Because we want to kind of get as much research that we don't have to do as possible. And then we're going to say use simple language and short sentences to make the content clear and engaging. Avoid jargon unless the audience expects it. So this is where we were talking about the doctor that can talk in jargon if they're writing an article for a doctor, or they should be talking in normal plain English if they're talking to us. And then we're going to say organize the blog to make it easy to read. Use short paragraphs, use bullet points or lists where helpful, make headings bold and clear. And then we're going to say use simple language and short sentences to make the content. Oh, why do I think something's going on with my Google Doc. I have things that are repeating. And optimize the blog post for SEO by using the user's keywords naturally, no keyword stuffing, writing catchy and clear headings and subheadings, writing an SEO friendly title, creating a short and compelling meta description if requested by the user, up to 160 characters, and including a clear call to action at the end if requested by the user. And then we have a couple of rules. And these rules are always write in plain and simple language. I always emphasize on things that I want ChatGPT to remember and follow. And I might iterate it a couple of times, both in the instructions, could be in the context, it could be in the task and in the roles. And the more times you tell the same stuff, the more chance there is that it will follow it. Because the thing about large language models is they don't follow instructions to the T. It's not like when you're writing code and you expect exactly what you wrote to be the result. Sometimes it just has a tantrum and just goes down, its own rabbit hole, and you're like, what the hell happened? So yeah, I always like to tell it a few times what to do. So always write in a plain and simple language. Aim for a conversational tone. Keep sentences short and easy to understand. Make the blog informative and actionable, giving real value to the reader. Ensure the blog is 100% original and SEO friendly. Don't overcomplicate. Focus on clarity and connection. So this is basically what the prompt is. And what I want to do mostly today is to play around with your topics, with your audiences and keywords and see what kind of blog posts we can come up with. So, who wants to unmute themselves and be brave and just start?
I will.
Carolyn.
Who said that?
I
Oh,
did,
Carolyn.
Carolyn.
Oh, okay. Okay,
Okay.
so let's go with the topic.
I have the thing that we did yesterday that we were supposed to do. I have that all done if you want that. Or you can just ask me questions and I'll answer.
Yeah, just give me a topic.
Um, Anti-inflammatory living,
Anti.
using herbs, food, and lifestyle modifications.
Yeah, who's your target audience?
Perimenopausal women, 45 to 55.
I don't know how to spell it. Perimenopause.
P
Women 45,
plus.
45 plus years old. And let's go with, do you have a tone of voice? Like, do you have something to upload in here?
I do, but how do I get it to you?
If you put the link in the chat, I can grab it.
Link. Oh boy. Uh, okay, let's put it this way. I'm academic but approachable.
What about a casual academic?
Okay, that'll work.
Okay, what do we want for length?
At least 1,000 words, preferably 3,000, because I use scientific APA references.
Okay, I'm not entirely sure it will go for 3,000, but let's try 2,000 and see what
Okay.
happens here. Do you have your main keywords?
Anti-inflammatory,
Let's cheat a little bit. Yeah,
chronic inflammation,
yeah.
uh,
Inflam.
herbs, herbs, food, lifestyle.
Oh God, sorry. Uh, Herbs.
Foods,
These are very broad words.
Okay.
Herbs and foods and lifestyle, they can be about anything. Like Katie for her glamping could be like foods, herbs, and lifestyle. Like what we want from a blog post is to be as specific as possible because the more specific your keywords are, the more the more chances there are that the right people will find you. Because if I'm looking for a glamping campsite and I type, lifestyle and your thing comes up, I'll be like, what the hell is that?
Okay, let me okay. Here's a good one.
I'll remove that for now because we have it up the top. Yeah.
Okay, just a second. I'm putting it in the chat. I put something in the chat for you.
Oh, the comment.
Microbiome inflammation link.
Let's see if I can actually get it. Oh, yeah. L okay, link. So I'm gonna let's see what happens with these three.
Okay.
We'll just go into ChatGPT and I'm gonna run it. Okay, so it's asking me some questions. Should the blog post include specific SEO elements like meta description or internal links? What would
Yes.
you like the structure to? Sorry,
Yes.
you do? So one, yes. And then two, what would you prefer a specific structure? For example, introduction, several subheadings, bullet points, or lists, and a call to action at the end.
Introduction and several subheadings.
And do you want a call to action?
Please.
Yes.
Yes.
What would you like to be your specific call to action?
I offer a course on the body rebalance method.
Um, okay. Now, don't forget whatever AI writes for you, you still have to fine tune it a little bit.
Correct.
Like,
Yes.
and whether this is ChatGPT, whether it's Claude, like we all have our preferences for different AIs, but you can always tell that it's been written by AI unless, a human goes over it and, does a bit of a touch up. Okay, so we've got the title, Anti-Inflammatory Living, Simple Herbs, Foods and Lifestyle Tips for Women 45 Plus. Meta description, discover how herbs, food and lifestyle changes can help perimenopausal women reduce chronic inflammation, boost your gut health and feel your best.
Excellent.
And then we've got introduction. Inflammation is the body's natural defense against harm. But when it lingers, it can become chronic. It gives you a guide. What is chronic inflammation and why should you care? I think this is something that all of us should read.
You would actually read it?
It's still writing. Yeah,
It must
yeah, it says that chronic inflammation is a prolonged state of immune activity that can damage healthy tissues over time and is linked to conditions like joint pains and arthritis, heart disease, diabetes, digestive issues, brain fog, and memory problems. For perimenopausal women, the decline in estrogen offer worsens inflammatory markers, making it vital to take preventive steps. If unchecked, chronic inflammation can significantly affect your energy levels, mood, and overall health. And how your gut health plays a role. Did you know your gut is home to trillions of bacteria that play a key role in controlling inflammation? How long is it?
That's about what my blog posts are currently. That
Okay.
long.
That long?
That long, and they also include scientific citations in APA format.
Okay, so
But you don't have to do
ChatGPT can
I
hallucinate. So I would not take anything that it tells you that it's scientifically proven and just write it without fact checking.
correct.
Yeah, so you can actually, what you can do is you can take all that. Where is it? You can take all that, go to Perplexity, and say, uh, I'm going to share an article with you. Can you analyze it and do a search to find some scientific proof and return the results with
APA.
APA.
Yeah, capital APA format. It's a specific scientific format.
Oh, in an APA format. Okay. Okay. So the good thing about having lots of different AIs now is that we can take one thing from one, take it into the other, and just use them in combination to come up with the best um, in this situation, the best blog article that we can. Okay, so we've got all these citations. What do you do when you find the citations?
I check them out to make sure that they're accurate. And I put them at the end of the article in an accordion citation, whatever it's called. I also have a key takeaways at the very beginning, and just before the conclusion, I also offer a FAQs at the bottom of the article, the things I consider to be the most important out of the article.
Okay. Yeah. So you can explain how you create your articles and say, and come back here and copy and paste all these and then say, okay, I have some scientific, things that I want to include. Like I want to put this in the at the front. I want to put this at the back. I want to do this. And then you can say, can you combine all of that with the article you just wrote and just rewrite it?
Ah, okay.
Like that, the whole point is to try and get AI to do as much work as possible so you can do as little work as possible.
Correct.
Because now you have an article, then you have all the research, and I'm pretty sure that if you sit down, you'll probably do a better prompt than me. I'm going to share an article. Can you analyze it and do a search to find scientific proof? And then you just combine both. And then your job is to just go through, read it, make sure that the words that we know that AI is using a lot are not there, and you're using your own words.
Correct.
Cool. Katie?
Hey Monica, so did you actually link an article in there, or did you ask
asked AI to create the article for you.
So in here, I said,
LLM.
can you create an article? So I put the prompt in, and I said, here's my prompt. I said, can you create an article? And it did. And then in Perplexity, I said, I'm going to share the article. And this, I just copy and pasted
okay. So the article was the one you created. Okay, I get it now. Okay.
Yeah,
Got
I
it.
just copy and pasted everything from ChatGPT into Perplexity.
Got it.
Because sometimes it really depends on what type of business you're running. If you're like Carolyn and you have medical claims, you probably need to do some fact checking. But if you're a yoga teacher and you want to talk about how good you feel after yoga, you don't have to do that. Same with you, Katie. There's not a lot of fact checking about, how good nature is for you. Like we all know it. It's the same as like the weight loss industry is $1 billion industry, even though every single one of us knows what to do to lose weight. Eat healthy, eat less, exercise more. And yet, 2/3 of the population of the world is spending money every single day for somebody to tell them that. So, with some things we know, with some is like, show me the proof. I'm always very, very careful if I talk to people that are in those niches where they can get caught and they can get in trouble. Because you just need one person to get injured or to something to happen to them for them to sue you. And you guys in the States, you sue each other for anything. So, yeah. Anybody else wants to be a guinea pig? No? No brave souls?
Okay.
Juliet, you want to be brave?
Yeah, I'll be a guinea pig.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's write a blog post.
All
What's the
right.
topic?
The topic is, let me actually just pull up all the information that I've done. Hold on. Hold on. Oh, Jesus Christ, I had hundreds of them. Why hidden sexual trauma can affect your relationships and how to spot it. Is instead of can, is affecting your relationship and how to spot it or what to do about it, something like that.
Okay. Who is our audience?
Target audience is men 45 to 60 plus, late 60s, CEOs, of big companies, income around $500,000 a year. Middle Eastern or Indian men. So a lot of cultural stuff that comes up about trauma.
Got it?
Yeah, a lot of shame comes up, but I'll talk about that later.
Okay. What is the tone of voice?
The tone of voice is is I would say empathetic and very knowledgeable. So I know my facts.
And what is the length? Do you want to keep it to 2000 or you want something less?
That's 1500. I don't really care either way.
Okay. And what are the keywords that you want to use?
Safety.
Again, really broad.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Way to you really have to start thinking what
got it. Okay.
somebody that is looking for that actually type.
How to create a safe space for my woman. How to create a safe space so my wife can enjoy pleasure.
Sexual trauma is actually a keyword.
Yeah.
Like you can have short keywords, which is like 1 or 2 keywords, and you can have long tail keywords.
Yeah. What are the signs that she may have sexual trauma on board? How do I see it? So those are the main things that I would write on. 5 physical signs that she may have this on board. I've already written a PDF, so I kind of know what to do.
Okay, well, let's run with that.
Yeah.
And see what happens. The more you do it, the more you'll start seeing how to use keywords.
Right.
I'll just do a new one.
It's been interesting because chat doesn't like this because it's sexual, right? But then going in Perplexity, I got incredible answers. It's a bit more academic.
Okay, so do you want meta description, internal links or external links?
Does it matter? Well, what do
It's
they
asking me.
want? No, but like for you, you know this stuff. Why would we want a meta
Well,
description?
if you have a WordPress, that's the only one I know that is for blogging, you actually will put meta description, which will tell a search engine what the article is about.
Okay, no, I don't have WordPress anymore. So no.
No? Okay,
Yeah.
one, no. Do you want a specific structure for your blog?
Yeah, I like the intro, clear headings and subheadings, bullet points. Perfect.
Okay. Do you want to have a call to action?
Yeah, call to action. Take my pleasure quiz.
Is quiz is one word, is one Z, isn't it?
It's one Z. I know I do 2 Zs as well.
I It's interesting how it writes in the canvas now. I find that ChatGPT has become much better at writing stuff than what it was about a year ago.
Absolutely. Yeah, this is pretty good.
Yeah. And if you're not doing videos and growing a YouTube channel, because YouTube videos come on every search engine, whether it's Google or AI, blog posts are the next best thing. Like you
Amazing.
have to have some sort of long form content that lives somewhere outside of social media.
Yeah.
So what do we have here? Why
That's
sexual?
not
Huh? Oh,
I would
yeah, it's
probably
done.
put it more on what the shame is, but that's one of the blog posts that I would probably write about more. Shame in the Middle Eastern culture, for even having experienced that, the shame that he might be feeling. So I've got lots of different ideas from
Well,
yesterday's.
something that I know from, some conversations with women that have grown up in Middle East, in Islam, is the female circumcision
Mm,
and how shameful that is and, how they feel and all that. So, yeah, these are there's a lot of stuff like in that culture that is very hidden and nobody talks about, and it's like oh hush hush.
But it's
But
even for the
yeah, I
men where
think
they
that it's
feel like
pretty
they're
good.
It's not
Sorry.
bad. I said it's even for the men where they just feel like they're just providers and they don't know how to hold them. And that's really what's showing up for me lately.
Yeah,
Cool.
how can affect you.
I like it.
Yeah, also something I have noticed in the past couple of years is that because our attention span is not as good, I want to say, and like we'd watch longer videos, but we'll read less.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's probably a good thing for your articles not to be like crazy long because people start reading, that their brain kind of gets a little bit tired, and then they start skimming.
Yeah.
So you want short and concise, but the point is not so much to be like super educational. The point is to be found on the search engines, and the point is to get people uh, uh, like a sample of what you can do.
Mhm. Super good.
Yeah,
Monica,
yeah.
can I just add a couple of SEO points
Oh,
on what
absolutely.
you said?
Martin is like an SEO person. Like I can just write the stuff, but like if he gives you like if he gives you any advice on SEO, I would take it.
Okay. Um, so just purely from a SEO point of view, first of all, that meta description thing, all that is, you know, when you do a search and you get results, and under the results there's those two lines that kind of give you a little bit more detail about the title.
Mhm.
So from Google's point of view, it's looking at the title. It doesn't look at those two lines underneath. It's not interested. But as a human, when you see like 10 sets of results, often those two lines can be the ones that make you think, yeah, that's what I want to click on. So the meta description is for the human. That's the 160 character thing. Okay, and the title is for Google. So that's where that comes into play. Um, Google also values content that it thinks is going to be useful, and its algorithm thinking is, well, that's probably more than 1,000 lines or 1,000 character, whatever we were going for there, 1,000 lines. So Monica's quite right. From a human point of view, you know, we don't want to read all of that. But from a Google point of view, to get it in the SEO results, that's what it's expecting to see. And you'll find if you go through and look at results, it's usually the longer ones that get in there. So the trick is to write some short ones once you've got people's attention. But the longer ones, write them to keep Google happy, but format them with loads of spacing and loads of short bullet points and things so that us humans can just skim read through it and go, yeah, 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 or oh wow, blimey, yeah, I want to know more about that. So you're trying to mind from the SEO point of view, you're writing for two different audiences, although they've got the same end goal. Um, yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, I think that's why the AI search engines like Perplexity will probably win at the end, because Perplexity is not looking for stuff that is good for their algorithm. They're looking for stuff that is good for humans. So yeah, Google is still very strong. Like billions of people are still searching on Google. They don't even know what Perplexity is. So you kind of have to serve two masters at the moment,
Yeah.
humans and algorithms.
And Google itself knows that, you know, I mean, when you see the search results now, it's suddenly got these, like, it's AI interpretation at the top. And then it's got its, you know, if it's local, it's got its map bits and pieces. And then eventually you finally get down to the 10 results that you just used to get. And it's a mess. And they know it. So it will change. But yeah, people change much slower than AI, as we know. So yeah, right for both, and you got your bases covered.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't write blog posts. I would rather do a video and put it on YouTube. So,
So,
so
Monica,
all this
are you gonna take that now and put it into Perplexity again and show an example of that?
uh I don't know if you to show us some scientific stuff. So I'll share an article I wrote. Um, um, I'd like you to analyze it and research to find any scientific proof for the claims I make in the article.
And Monica, while it's doing that,
Mhm.
you said that you would rather, instead of a blog post, you would rather do a YouTube video.
Yes.
Do you do a talking head teaching style, or how would you take what we're doing with a blog post and turn it into a YouTube? How would you format your YouTube?
Okay, so I'm a little bit different than a lot of people because I don't do scripts. Like if I read a script, everybody knows that I'm reading. But at the same time, I cannot remember everything to do a whole video. And then when I know that I can't remember everything, I get nervous. So I need some sort of a crutch. And my crutch is usually sharing my screen. So I would do whatever it takes to make it into an over the shoulder training. Like even if I have to write on my iPad and my screen is my iPad and while I'm talking, I'm writing and then that helps my brain to process and to continue.
And that
Thank you.
actually is like really kind of trendy right now. Like people like the over the shoulder. And so because I don't mind talking to the screen, neither does Crystal, right? So I do it and just wing it, or I use a teleprompter app that literally like the one that I use will like stop if I stop and let me kind of jam and go off on stuff. But it's a lot of setup. And what Monica's doing is what some of my coaches have said is just people like that kind of behind the curtain and seeing the I don't know, show and tell almost. And I don't know what you use, Monica. Crystal and I use a program called Loom where you can actually share your screen and it has a little bubble of you that you can kind of move around. And what's cool about that is you can actually send a Loom video to people if they're asking questions and stuff. I mean, I'm sure there's multiple ways to do it, but Loom is a pretty inexpensive software that allows you to do what Monica does. But also you can use it for like lead magnets and stuff like, hey, I just created this thing. Do you want the Loom video that shows it? Or, you know, stuff like that. I know that doesn't apply to everyone if you don't kind of have show and tell step-by-step things, but it is nice for like what Crystal and I and Monica do. If we're showing someone like how to use some new software, I'll just create a Loom video and send it to them. Anyway.
Okay, so your over the shoulder could include illustrations and slides or video in a video or that sort of thing as well.
Whatever makes the video interesting and whatever has the movement and a way for people to follow you.
Okay, that's helpful. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so let's have a quick look here. So we've got, I've analyzed the article and researched scientific evidence for the claims made. Here's an overview of the key points. And we've got some various articles here. There's no citations, which is interesting. But here's something like if you want to go for a video, you can say, let me just remove that and go back into the chat. I can say, thank you. Can you now turn this blog post into a script for a talking head video? Was it don't include scenes or options for B-roll. Just write the script. So now you have a blog post and you'll be like, I don't know how to do my script to create it into a video. And it does the same thing, but for a video. And this is something like, for something like this, you can draw on your iPad like I do, but you may have slides that show different things. There you go. So you can write your article, turn it into a script, do research in Perplexity, and then combine it all and make it really awesome and spend like less than an hour.
I love this. Super cool.
I would say
Please send it to me, Monica.
Yeah. Sorry?
I said, will you send that to me?
The article?
Yeah. What you
Yeah, of course.
Thank you.
Yeah. I can send you all that. Why aren't you letting me? I'll send it to you afterwards. I can't go up the top to make a link at the moment. But yeah, I'll send you both the Perplexity thing and this article.
Amazing.
Can you do that for me as well, Monica?
Yeah, of
On the-
course. Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I can do that. Can definitely do that. Okay, Crystal, did you want to say something?
Oh, I was just saying, for depending on your industry, like someone that has a more sensitive industry like Juliet, it would be better to do a talking head video because you really do want to establish that trust. Where when we're teaching, we can use like Loom and that type of thing, but I know that there's a rhetoric that is kind of anti talking head videos, and I think that can be I don't want to say dangerous, but like it's certainly inaccurate depending on your industry. So just take into account the sensitivity of what you're doing and how much you need to build trust with your audience when you think about your method of distribution for your content.
Yeah, I do a lot of reels and a lot of talking to camera.
It makes a lot of sense. And for me as well, when I do my stuff, it makes a lot of sense that I'm the one talking to people. I can show pieces and bring on graphics and stuff, but for the most part, they want to hear from me. So just think about that,
Yeah, if you're in fashion like Crystal, the worst thing you can do is draw on your iPad.
Indeed.
So yeah, you have to kind of roll with what kind of makes sense for your business.
Right.
For my business, because I have an agency that does implementation and then I have a community that teaches, it makes a lot of sense to do show and tell.
Right. Exactly.
But yeah, Martin, do you have any suggestions about what is the best way to have blogs, like whether it's just WordPress or if there's any other platforms that people may look at?
I'm a WordPress guy, so I'm going to go for that. But obviously, there are other blogging specific platforms like Medium that has quite a big following. There's something called Substack, which has a big following.
Substack is huge.
There you go. And of course, LinkedIn. They now have, besides their main posts, they have newsletters that are native to LinkedIn. So there are all those different places that you can have stuff. And don't forget if you're making YouTube videos, that nowadays, I think we said in one of the other meetings, it'll automatically generate a transcript of that. That transcript in itself is searchable from a purely SEO point of view. So it's about trying to get your message into as many different places as possible without it being identical everywhere, because that'll end up actually penalizing you. So format it for the platform that you're actually putting it onto. And I'm pretty sure if you don't already have one, Monica's got an automation that will do that for you anyway.
Yeah. Does Google index the LinkedIn articles?
It's an interesting question. So if you do like Google searches now, you're starting to see LinkedIn newsletter content coming up in search results.
Is that
So
different articles?
I'm not sure if there's a difference to like a post in LinkedIn and a newsletter content in LinkedIn. I'm not sure, to be perfectly honest. But there's more of that coming up than used to be. So
So
yeah.
LinkedIn is trying to push you have that where you can put blog posts and the newsletter stuff. And this is all very new. So Martin was correct. And yes, I have been seeing it a ton lately when I'm Googling stuff that I am getting coming at the top of my Google search will be a LinkedIn article. And it actually takes, because if you go to it, it will be, or a LinkedIn blog, whatever you want to call it. It's not even taking it to their post. It's not the post. You have to use their blog function. And now people are beginning to tie it in with Substack. And I had a conversation with someone about this who uses Substack a lot and has actually monetized it, because you can use Substack as a place to put your information. And then you can eventually have like $7 a month to always get this. And so now what people are doing in the Substack community is they're really utilizing the LinkedIn side of the blogger article and then putting a link to their Substack. And the guy that I was talking to was saying it's working beautifully. And he actually just got 1,000 Substack subscribers, which doesn't seem like a lot, but just if you guys have never heard of Substack, it's fairly new. I mean, it's been around for like probably a couple years, but it's fairly new in that now people are hearing about it and you're seeing a lot more people on it. Because I always, when I see these new things, I'm always like, well, am I really going to go join and put all this energy into it and then for it to go away? Where my advice today would be look into Substack, because it is becoming a lot more popular, and I don't think it's going to go away, and people are actually monetizing it.
Yeah. Couple more very quickies as well, just on this. If you're a local business like Katie with the glamping, don't forget that you can put articles on Google Business Profile, i.e. the Google Maps bit. And Google likes that because who owns Google Business Profile? Google. So, they'd rather you put it on there than on these competitor things. So, people tend to think of Google Maps as just somewhere where you get reviews and you reply, but there's nothing to stop you putting little short bits of content up on there as well. And again, the more interaction you've got with these things, the more that, the robots behind Google go, oh, that's nice. So that's good. Another one, I don't know whether this actually is going to be something that takes off or not, but worth keeping an eye on is we all know that Twitter was taken over by Elon Musk and turned into X. But the guy who started Twitter started something else called Blue Sky. And I see a lot of people signing up for that now as an alternative to X, because for various reasons they're not keen on the way that's run. So, and that's free, of course, and that operates pretty much the way that Twitter used to. So you might want to check that out as well.
I have 25 followers on Blue Sky.
Hey!
And it's a good new medium that you can get your handle When it first came out, that's the first thing I did. I was like, Eve Whitaker, Vay Creative, Even Crystal. Like, I think I got every handle and I literally haven't been back. But I have heard my brother's big into blogging and stuff. And he's more in the religious Buddhism world, but he uses it and he says he has quite a following. So.
Yeah. I think that the thing that I've always found in the past has been really difficult is, yeah, this is great, I can put it on this platform, on that platform, on that platform, on that platform, but somewhere along the lines, I've got a life and I need to actually eat and sleep and stuff like that. Um, and now more and more we're getting the possibility, to be able to bring automation into this and just write it once, distribute many different times, format it correctly. So that's the exciting area where we can actually start to do things. And like you've said, in the new platforms, you've got the opportunity to get exactly the handle or the name or whatever you want that perhaps, is more difficult with the established ones.
And just to echo something Martin said earlier, and just if you're not into the automations and stuff, because I do know that Monica probably has this set up, but about formatting it for each platform, that is really important. And if you don't know how to do that, you literally can just use Perplexity or ChatGPT and just ask it like, hey, would you format this for a LinkedIn post? Because I've done a recent in the last 6 months, like kind of consuming a lot of information on LinkedIn and how it's working, just because I do see it and everything that I've heard, it's being used incorrectly by a lot of people. They're all the people jumping into your DMs, where it really is about just providing a lot of value. And the people that are not jumping into people's DMs and they're beginning to see that their LinkedIn is growing organically. And it's really just by just offering value on it, because during COVID is when a lot of people stopped using LinkedIn just for looking for jobs or looking for, hires. And it became more of a business social media platform. And it's even changing more now, right? So you'll start seeing a lot more stuff in it. But utilizing the kind of the takeaways that I got just listening to actually a lot of podcasts and stuff. And then I bought a book from a podcast that if I find it, I'll show you guys, or I'll find it tomorrow and show you guys, because it was really easy to consume and helpful. But how you actually format, just kind of like what Martin said, also just about with your blog of the spaces and stuff, LinkedIn the same way. Like they really, a big paragraph, people aren't going to read it. So there's like kind of this thing to LinkedIn post of having your first two lines be a certain way, because that's what people see before they click more, and using those two lines to kind of grab them, and then having a space in between everything, and then like little bullets. And I found a GPT. I didn't create it. I just found it on when I went looking through exploring GPTs, that I'll share with you guys, that does a really good job. It has like three different options of like formatting it for engagement, formatting it just for LinkedIn if you don't want it to do anything different than actually just taking what you write and formatting it for LinkedIn, and then a format for the viral. And it does a great job. And I know Monica could make my life, and she is soon, easier, because I told her I go take it from here to here to here to here, and I'm like going in between, and she's like, just automate it. So that's another lesson we're going to teach, or Monica's going to teach, and I'll be a student. But anyway, so what Martin said was very, very valuable information, and thank you for sharing that. And I'm going to dig up that GPT and put it in the chat.
Yeah. It's funny when you say that I probably have it all set up for different platforms for blogs, but every single client I've worked with who's been like, maybe we should start a blog. And I'm like, let's start a YouTube channel. So I'll kind of work on them until they start the YouTube channel so we don't have to do a blog. So actually, no, I don't have anything set up. But if you guys want to, I could set something up for different platforms, because I don't blog, and I try to steer my clients away from blogging because YouTube is easier for me.
Which is so interesting, because I find our clients, it's so not. right? Like, because you actually have to videotape something. And literally, what you should do is both. And I love that. I think Katie asked a question about that. Like, would you take the blog and how do you create a video? And one of the things that Crystal and I did for one of our clients, and they were like class action lawsuit lawyers. So when I say like their content was not at all fun, um, or interesting to like us, so it was kind of hard, but it really lent itself to where we could create a blog and then take that blog and use AI to rewrite it for a short video, being 3 to 5 minutes or 45 seconds to a minute. And then we used a software called Pictory, which is incredibly inexpensive. And it allows you to have access and rights to stock footage. And it's actually now also doing AI video, which I don't care for, but it will get there eventually. And you can upload your own footage. For these lawyers, it worked really well because we weren't going to use real footage, right? We're not actually going to show any of their clients or anything. So when we're talking about like, I don't know, retirement and pension laws and stuff like that, we could actually, it made sense to use the stock footage where it might not do. But even I'm thinking for Juliet, like, there might be stuff in there that it actually pulls together something and creates that video. And what I told our clients is we wouldn't necessarily make that video with the idea that people are going to go watch it, right? Some people, yes, are going to watch it, but it was all for SEO because we would put that video on YouTube. We would create the metadata underneath the YouTube where you put it in your comments and all the stuff of like getting it so when Google crawls, it will index it. And as an added kind of like to up it up, we would include that video in the blog post that we would put on their website. And it all kind of began to be this circular thing where their SEO would begin to go up because it was all connected. So it's kind of a more level 3 of this lesson of adding to the ecosystem of what we do with our clients. But for this, I think, and again, this isn't saying what Monica said is incorrect. You can do either or both. But I think for people that aren't comfortable putting out a lot of content, this blog, it helps with two things. It helps with your SEO, right? If you want your SEO to go up. And at the same time, it also allows you to repurpose and come up with a bunch of ideas for your social media. But do both if you can, because they're both going to be good. Okay, I'm looking for that GPT. Hold on.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's up to you what you want to do and what you feel comfortable with and how you want your business to be. I'm like, blog, not my thing. I don't want to sign up for another WordPress website. My platform costs me $19 a year. And I can use, 10 domain names and have landing pages. I specifically want to be found on YouTube. I want my videos to be indexed by the search engines.
And I'm a little bit of both, if that helps. I'm kind of really in the middle of, I will do a YouTube forward and then take the transcript, put it into a GPT or Claude, and then have it generate. And I like a smaller article, so I like a 500 to 800 word article that I put on my website because I like having a little bit of stuff everywhere. So I will definitely go and do both, especially just because it's really simple to take something from a YouTube transcript and turn it into a blog post.
Yeah.
Hey, Martin, I was going to ask on the Google business profile, adding content there. Were you referring to just dropping like a blog post in there, or was it something more like, or was it more like a social media post, or what exactly would I be doing there?
You'd be doing things like, hey, we're having this special. Have you ever thought about this? So kind of like short 4, 5, 6 line things that grab people's attention about your business.
Okay,
basically.
more like a social media type of hook.
Kind of, yeah. I mean, when you go like if you look on the local searches and you get that map up and it goes, hey, in this part of Texas, there's this glamping site. And the first thing and the most important thing people are going to do is read the reviews. So obviously, getting reviews and
Right.
replying to reviews is still way the most important thing on Google My Business. But you can also add little bits of news and snippets and things in because if, for example, you go 2 months without a review and you do nothing else, which is what most people don't do, that's 2 months when nothing is happening on
Yeah.
that little bit of Google. So it's much better if something's always happening. Even if it's only like one post a week, it doesn't have to be as intense as a Facebook, Instagram, whatever. But you just keep dripping some new stuff in there. It keeps it in Google's mind. And at the end of the day, if people go and they're looking at reviews and they also see, hey, well, look, next month they're doing this, can but help.
Yeah. I wonder if you put announcements on Google My Business could be also something that will grab people's attention. Like if you have any
Definitely. And
specials like Easter, and things like this, like it can be like we have a special Easter day egg hunt for the kids.
absolutely, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
if you've got a Google My Business profile, Google will actually just send you emails every now and again going, hey, are your opening hours over Christmas the same as they normally are? Are you up to date? And it's like, please tell me something because I haven't heard from you for a little while. So, it's almost kind of begging you to give it something, and announcements are absolutely perfect.
Hmm. Okay, anybody has any other questions? Oh, you guys all good?
No, thank you for your knowledge on that.
I'm learning
Crystal and
way
I are
more from
always like,
you.
we're not SEO experts, but you pick up a few tips and tricks here and there, right?
I'm learning way more from you than you are from me, Eve.
I don't know. I literally took notes. I was like, what's this?
Maybe we should get Martin to do like a masterclass in our community
I
on
literally was thinking that. I'm like, I see a future thing going. Which little foreshadowing we've been talking about, guys. And Monica and I and Crystal are going to brainstorm a little of us teaming up on a more permanent basis where it's not the automations, obviously that side of it, because I know Monica already has her group and Crystal and I already have a group, and we're talking about combining something that does AI with the marketing and just everything. One of the things that my coach said, and it made a lot of sense, is stop trying to do two things. Like just take what you're doing for your clients and start teaching it, right? And it's become very interesting that, then I've been looking at Monica being like, I need to hire you to come up with this automation for my client. But it's all based on this forwarding stuff of like, okay, we have these principles of these marketing and getting out there and stuff like that. So anyway, we don't have anything yet, but since you guys are in this and have been here in the past, whatever we do, you guys will get VIP access of some sort. Discount. I don't know. We'll figure it out. We might figure it out today and let you know tomorrow. Probably not, but we'll let you guys know.
I'm way too busy doing this big automation for you guys, that content system. I'm super proud that, guys, I don't know how many of you watched Crystal's training on how to create LoRa's. And I've been playing with it. I really like it. And then I spent 2 days trying to get Fal AI, so that specific platform that she taught us on, to put it in the automation with absolutely no success. It's just every time I send a request, it will sit in a queue and I will never get the image back. So I found a different platform that I started going on YouTube, going, why isn't my Fal AI images going through, all kinds of questions. And then I found this other platform, and I'm going to make a video today to show you how to do, how to train your LoRa's, because it's like crazy easy. It's going to be like a 3-minute video. And now with the content system that I'm building, like instead of having just random AI images for your social media posts, you can actually have yourselves as images, like for your
Okay.
LinkedIn, for your Facebook, and all that.
Which
It's
is
not
way
as
better.
good as foul AI. It's still a flux, but it just makes you a little bit more plasticky. A little bit, not very much, but a little bit. But I think that if you're like comparing, is it me or is it some random ass picture of something, I'd go with plasticky me, Barbie.
Every time. Every
Yeah.
time.
So a funny story about that, I haven't played with what Monica's saying, but the one that Crystal taught, we've been creating all of our superhero images that are all over my socials. And I was at an event where a friend knew I was going to be there, and he literally came up to me, had one of my photos printed out with a Sharpie marker, and asked me to autograph it. I was like flattered, and also, this is weird.
Love that.
He's like, I was at the gym and I saw this, and I was like, boop, 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 I'm getting this printed right now. This is fabulous.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So, yeah, if you guys have nothing more, tomorrow we're going to create a custom GPT that will take that article and just repurpose it into all sorts of different types of content for social media. And once again, don't forget that what we're doing now with prompting manually and doing custom GPTs that don't have any functions, so they're not doing anything on their own. This is step one. This is when you either working with people that don't want to automate anything, but they still want to have AI, or if you don't want to do it for yourself, if you don't want to automate your own business, but you still want to do AI. But it's still like level one. Level two is where it is like 95% automated. And you just need to basically check what's coming up, make sure that it's okay, and then click buttons. I like it or I don't like it.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah. So that system that I'm building, it starts from scratch. So you have no idea what to post. You have no long form content. It just researches, comes up with topics, creates all the social media content, creates the images, creates the scripts. I've even done it so if it's you or a client of yours that you doing the script for, or if it's you and you're doing your 60-second reel and you put it in Google Drive, it actually grabs it from Google Drive and puts it. And I've done like I don't know how many of you have schedulers, but my scheduler now is in Airtable, so I don't have to pay for something else. It doesn't look as cool as the proper schedulers, but I pay for Airtable anyway. I don't need to pay for a scheduler. And it still does it with the automations. I just have to put the date I want it posted, and it posts for me. Because that was something that a lot of people were getting stuck at. They're like, well, if I produce, 50 pieces of content and my last module is like post to Instagram, it's going to post 50 times. So I kind of made it different, and now it's got conditions. You have to put a date. It will put it on a specific date in the calendar, and then the calendar will just post on those dates, whatever is in there on those dates. So yes, you can have 50 things produced today and then post for 50 days.
I'm looking forward to look at this automation. Can I post twice a day? I post about twice a day now, one reel and one static.
I'm pretty sure you can. You just have to add the time.
Perfect.
Yeah. But these are things that, number one, all of you should have it for yourselves. So you're always building your credibility and visibility. And for those of you, there's not probably many except maybe Jill and Martin and even Crystal that are actually selling this stuff. this is an incredible system to sell to people. Because you can save people, 40 plus hours a week.
I can't wait to test it and play with it.
Selling it to my coaches.
Yeah. Anywho, we went way, way down the rabbit hole. But yeah, so I'm going to give Juliet and Caroline the links. And I'll just message you privately and I'll give you those links so they don't get lost in translation somewhere. And tomorrow we'll build that GPT.
And we'll put a link. I put it just so you know, Monica, when you were doing the blog for Carolyn, I just went and put a link because I had your link anyway in a Google Doc, so these guys could do it with you with their stuff for the prompt of your blog, but we can put it in the group too for anyone that didn't grab it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, we will.
Thank you guys so much. You're absolutely amazing superheroes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Awesome, you
I
guys.
claim Tony Stark for myself.
Thank you so much. See you tomorrow.
See you
Bye.
guys.